Hello, and welcome to Somos Mas, your source for New Mexico United news, notes, and New Mexico runners and babies and San Antonio FC apparently tonight, and a small 13-minute delay. I am not your normal host, but I am Jacob Terrell. Seth has been battling laryngitis for a couple weeks now, apparently, so he's going to miss out tonight. Maybe he'll pop in the chat. But that doesn't mean we won't have a full house. We've got everybody's favorite knucklehead down there on the bottom, Arl Nieto, and then everybody's favorite San Antonio FC fan, Harry. Guys, how you doing tonight?
I got the hard job of filling in for Seth. At one time, I was a Braves fan, so we still get that into the show as a Braves fan. But the Broncos season is over. I think I saw this is 8 straight years of no playoffs, so it's a sad day to be a Broncos fan.
It's been a sad few years to be a Broncos fan. Earl, how are you?
So I'm a little confused right now because Harry said that he has the terrible job of filling in for Seth. I think you're the only one crying at this point.
Yeah, I mean it's a. I don't think it's a difficult job to replace Seth sometimes. I'm doing the hosting part, or trying to anyways, so you don't have to worry about that. So really, you just gotta be a Braves fan.
Just sit there.
Yeah, and ask. I don't. Why are you here, Harry? No, I'm just kidding.
That's a great question.
Yeah, all you
Why
gotta do
is
is ask
Seth
a
here?
question. Like that's it.
All right, guys. I have a small burning question for you. If I could, actually, that mic's not on, so she can touch the mic all she wants. This is baby Maggie. For those of you that don't remember that I had a baby back in May, I forget sometimes. She's getting huge.
Then
Getting
you
into
go home
everything.
and you remember.
Yeah. But yeah. Say hi. Can you say hi? No? You're just gonna stare at me? Okay. Cool. Good talking. So the burning question, guys, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
The same one that I have every year, to try to lose weight and quit soda. And I was successful one year, and then I fell off the wagon, and then it's been a few years. So for me, it's that. But my son is more motivational this year because he's 16, and of course going to the gym, and now all of a sudden he's got to watch his weight and his calories and blah blah blah. So that means everybody else has to. So
Yeah. Well, I wish you luck on that. It's giving up anything is hard. I don't care what it is. If you're used to having it, habits are hard to break.
yeah. So
What about you, Earl?
Yeah,
Got anything?
not showing up. My New Year's resolution started kind of last year, where I decided I wasn't going to show up as often, and then someone decided to go shave his beard and become an adult, so I had to show up like 85 weeks in a row.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your
here we
New
are.
Year's. I thought you were going to say your New Year's resolution is to get bad haircuts, because you're off to a rip-roaring
that-
start on there.
Yeah, that too.
I'm just impressed that you did a year and a half in a row, which I think we'd have to check the tape. I'm not sure if you.
I
actually
wasn't
reached
gone a
that
year and
limit.
a half.
He said
It felt
85
like it.
weeks.
Well, that's what he said. He can't
So,
count.
anyways, my New Year's resolution this year is to actually make a resolution, because I don't know what the hell I want to do now. Yeah. What about you, Jacob?
Oh, I don't really have one. I do need to, like, I was in the academy. At the academy, we worked out every day. Then I got out of the academy and stopped that promptly. And I can feel it in my bones that that's not good. Like, my back hurts worse now for some reason. My hips hurt. Oh, bye, baby. Mwah. Mama came to pick her up. So
Bye, Maggie.
So to do stuff like to just be, the problem is I enjoy working out and doing that kind of stuff, I just don't enjoy getting up early enough to do it in the time frame that I have because, as you know, 4 kids and a full time job, as well as stuff at the church and stuff in the community and all this jazz. Just don't have a lot of time for stuff. So trying to squeeze it in the morning when I do have time means I have to get up early, and I'm not great at that. So mainly sleep habits get better, and then if my sleep habits get better, I'll have a little more energy. So that's what we're working on right now.
So I was actually wrong. And I need to apologize. I kind of lied.
Okay.
I do have a New Year's resolution.
Misremembered, sir. Misremembered.
I misremembered. My New Year's resolution is I'm trying to be just like, well, I guess he's over here now, just like this guy.
Oh, that's good. That's a good resolution.
So as many of you guys know, back in December 2022, Jacob was called out. We can roll the tape back. It's one of those episodes where a certain someone told Jacob that he needed to buy a bus, making reference to all his kids.
Oh, yeah.
So
we're doing this now, huh?
We're doing this now.
Okay, cool.
So I have decided to join the bus bandwagon, and
2 does not make it a bus.
this is very true. So as many of you know, I already have one that was pre-made for me and given to me. So I was graciously granted the opportunity to get all my sleep. However, in about 8 months or so, we don't know for sure yet, I will be losing more sleep.
Yay.
Congrats.
Congratulations, buddy. You guys excited?
So
Look who's being an adult now.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Right?
And if you haven't noticed, Harry, I'm surprised you haven't noticed because you're the one who called me out on it the most. I am not sitting on the floor.
On the floor.
Yeah, good job.
No, I actually went through a midlife crisis one week and decided, why the hell not?
I love that me and Harry both had the same thought without actually seeing each other's thought, that you were recording while laying on the floor. That was a good time.
Yeah. So that week I decided to go through a midlife crisis, and we found out we were pregnant. We moved into our new house. I interviewed for a new job. And Jacob, as you know by now, I got the new job.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that off air.
Thank you for the roaring reference, by the way.
You're welcome.
And then we found out that our water heater was broken.
Adulting.
Yeah, adulting. But yeah, other than that, it's been great, and just wanted to break some news for the new year.
I think that's the end of the show, dude.
It's a new signing.
Announcing a new addition to the family. I don't think you can top that.
No,
so
we might as well we'll just call it a night, guys. Thanks for popping in. Somos Unidos, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Now we do have some news and notes to get to. We'll start it off with some New Mexico United news. I don't have my phone. Well, I have my phone. I'm currently looking at it, using it for the podcast. So if you see my hand up here by the camera or anything like that, just ignore it. I am currently working on the list of things that we just talked about, because otherwise I will forget, because I'm a very forgetful person. So let's start with 2 new additions that are returning, and two pretty big names. I'm sure Earl is excited about one, less than excited about the other. But we've got Alex Tambakis coming back, returning in goal for us. And then the one and only Chris Weehan, a.k.a. Bees, coming back for what is essentially his 6th year. But he missed half a year because he wanted to go to Orange County. Basically, he's been here since the beginning. Earl, how do you feel about both of those? And then Harry, after Earl goes, if you want to weigh in on him, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, sure.
So I know you said that I'd be upset about one or less.
I didn't say upset. I just said less than excited.
Less than excited about one and then excited about the other. I'm actually excited about both of them. I just say both.
Coach Steve in the chat. Oh, sorry. Just saw that. Andres is also in the chat.
So those two right there. I mean,
Hold on, Seth. Hold on, Earl. Since I'm acting as Seth,
Oh,
how did your fantasy football league go?
fucking asshole.
Seth coming in the chat as well. Also, Alex said congratulations. Alex Rodriguez, fellow Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan as well, making the playoffs again. Andres said congratulations and big things happening. And then Seth is asking, who won it, Earl? Who won the fantasy football league?
You see, I would say who won it if he would actually fucking show up for the first show of the year.
Fair enough. So I'm assuming Seth won it. Congratulations, Seth. I don't know who you beat, but
he beat a pregnant lady.
You beat at least Earl. Oh, you beat Marlena? Nice.
Continue on, Earl. Sorry about to interrupt you on.
Yeah.
Weekend.
It's okay,
sorry,
Seth.
but
it's okay, Seth.
Okay, we had and bees. Earl, go.
We had and bees. Those are two same people, but cool. You're doing
Oh,
great
sorry.
there.
We had into marketing. Sorry.
I'm excited about both of them. Bees is a very important part to the team. And we saw the way it went whenever he went down. We couldn't find a replacement for a while. So Bees coming back, especially not knowing what his status was. I know last year he broke his kneecap. Thanks, David, for breaking that in the news on the show for us. So we didn't really know what was going on. We knew he was on a contract year. We knew it was very questionable for him to even return to soccer in general. To see him back is great. I'm excited to see what he actually does. And then the Tambakis news. I mean, this one's gonna actually taste disgusting coming out. But it's hard to find someone better than him without looking at next level. I mean, we had to go borrow someone from MLS in order to keep our season afloat. So that shows the quality of keeper that he is. So I'm hoping that my shitty haircut resembles his, and I guess we do good enough. Just kidding.
I will say that I love Alex, but I think Andrew Thomas was better than him last year.
100%.
So I would have liked to bring him back, but I love Alex. He's been here for now. This will be his 5th season. I think Seth just asked, given the health of both keepers, Thomas or Tambakis, I think we just kind of answer that. Definitely think Thomas was a better. I guess he was a better keeper. I can't judge keepers. I just know when he was out there, he seemed to control the whole field a little bit better than Alex did, and made some massive saves. Of course, Alex has made massive saves for us too, but I think I would have chosen Thomas over Tambakis. But hey, a cat. But Tambakis is definitely a higher tier starter in this league, and I'm excited to have him back.
But I think one thing to kind of caution, just because Alex is back doesn't mean he's the starter, because you guys have only got one goalkeeper right now, and we are, with the MLS season starting, and this is something that, fans here in San Antonio are waiting on. MLS loans, you already had that last year. There's already rumors of Austin FC loaning out their starting goalkeeper from their Austin FC 2 team, Paz, who has very high potentials. Rumor is he's going to a USL team. We don't know where. So just because he's back, just like we have Jordan Farr that's back, doesn't necessarily mean that they will be the starter. Right now, you guys have only got one goalkeeper on the roster, if my memory is correct, and looking at the tactics here. So, as far as Chris Wehan, Mr. Handball, as he's known here in San Antonio.
Any you have thoughts on this?
But much respect to him, and like I said, I think just the veteran leadership that he brings in, especially in the midfield, is huge. My question to you guys is, obviously he brings in that veteran leadership. I think he was only in looking at his stats 6-7 games last year. Do you see him more coming off the bench this year and providing that leadership there, or are you anticipating him to be a starter?
I think that's going to depend on one, his health, assuming he's coming back healthy and and fully fit after breaking the kneecap last year. And then two, what the rest of the roster shapes up to be. I think if you're looking at the roster right now, I think a midfield of him, Rivas, and Nicky Hernandez as the starters is kind of what I would lean towards. I don't know much about Marco Miraleta. You know who I'm talking about. One of the new signings from, where did he come from? Columbus Crew 2. I've heard good things. I liked what I saw as far as the highlights that I've seen of him. But because I haven't seen him play a full match or really anything like that, I'm going to stick with Weehan, Nicky, and Rivas. And maybe Marco can come in and outperform them or push them all to be better. I don't know. At the end of the day, though, if Weehan's healthy with his quality, I expect him to start. Even if Marco comes in and is lights out, I think it'd be one of the other two that end up moving to the bench. But he's also in year 5 or 6 or 7 now, I think, as far as his career as a whole, and has had some injuries last year, obviously, and the year before he battled some too. So if he can stay healthy and he comes in fully fit, I expect him to at least compete for that starting job. What about you, Earl? Anything? No?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, if he can stay healthy and he's healthy week 1, I think he starts. I did write down my projected starting lineup.
I want to hear this.
It's way too early to call.
Oh, I still want to hear it.
But that comes in here in a few minutes.
Okay. We'll go over the new signings and then we can touch on that.
See, I actually did my homework, and I have notes here. And
that's good. I also gave you things to do homework on today, so I think we're off to a rip-roaring start to 2024.
Yeah, we're actually kind of organized.
Except for we were 15 minutes late, and I don't have a charging cable for my laptop, so super organized.
You
yeah,
were 15 minutes late.
That's Seth's fault. Let's just put it on Seth.
Fair enough. We'll blame that on Seth and laryngitis.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I was saying though, I think that Bees starts if he's healthy week 1, and if he can continue to produce and stay healthy, then yeah, I think he stays a starter. I don't see him playing the full 90 minutes. I see him coming off on a sub, but for sure getting a decent amount of the minutes throughout the season.
Yeah, for sure. So that brings us to 2 new signings that have been announced since the last time. I can't remember if and actually, you know what? I'm gonna back up. I'm going to go to the 2 departures that have happened since the last time we talked. I think Santi might have been before the last time we had a pod. He was announced as a returner with the first wave of returning players, and then since then he has something happened. We don't really know what, but he is no longer with the team. He is a free agent. He was actually on Nicholas Murray's free agent list, 11 free agents that was put out either today or yesterday. I can't remember. So he's no longer with the club. And then just hours before we started recording here, news that a fan favorite, one of my favorites, I think one of almost everybody's favorites, Austin Yearwood, will not be returning. He had a thank you post from United, and then of course he put out a thank you post to the fans and the state and everything. And so two big losses. Harry, did you? How do you feel about those? Are they guys that you hope San Antonio would make a run at? Are you kind of indifferent on them? Is San Antonio going to sign anybody this year, or are you just gonna? You guys are pulling like the Vegas thing where you're just like mum until 2 weeks before the season starts, then you'll have like a whole roster of MLS loanees apparently.
Yeah, or RGV since they decided to go on vacation.
Fair. Rest in peace.
I think Austin Yearwood would probably be the one that would interest me the most as a center back because I think he still provided. He had almost 1,700 minutes last year for New Mexico, and I think he was pivotal in a couple of goals, right? If memory served me right. But for Santi's the one that kind of confuses me because he played great the first time, went to Phoenix, in my opinion, was disappointing. Came back and whether it's lost a step or whatever you want to call it, he just hasn't been that same player. So to me, it'll be interesting where he lands. In San Antonio, I don't personally think he would be a fit. If I had to pick one of the two, it would definitely be Austin Yearwood. But Santi being announced coming back, and then a month later, right? I think it was pretty close to that they reached a mutual decision to go different directions.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me wonder where he's going to land up because typically when they announce those mutual decisions, it's kind of like Zico Bailey. San Antonio let him go, and then a couple weeks later he ends up, or it may have been a little bit less than that. He landed in New Mexico for that here. So to me, Seth brought it up that he wasn't able to create space for himself, and his lack of conversion was bad. That's part of it, and I think that's why you're seeing some of the new additions coming in for that here is to because you guys put shots up, you guys just couldn't finish.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. Like you said, he goes to Phoenix and has an MVP caliber season in his first year there, and then second year there falls off a cliff. His year here last year, I don't even know what you would classify that as. It was, I guess he fell off the cliff in Phoenix, and then the rocks landed on him. Here, I don't know.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah, it was rough. It was weird. So the fact that he made that Nicholas Murray list kind of surprises me. I don't know if I'd have him on the list right now. I think we know that the talent is there or has been in the past at least, but whether he can recapture that is yet to be seen. So I hate losing him. I mean, to see him leave twice is pretty rough. But I hope he finds a landing spot that he can actually produce. I don't know. Maybe he ends up in League One and finds his form again, and then can come back up. He's still pretty young. Him and Bees, I think, came into the league the same year, so there's a chance. But he definitely needs to find somewhere where he can shine and the pressure's off of him, and he can figure out what was going on the last couple. I don't know, two and a half years. Alex in the chat says it hurt less the second time Santi left, which is true. It did hurt, but not nearly as much as when he left for Phoenix for sure. Not nearly as much as Amando leaving for El Paso this year. So,
but did it really hurt though? Because he didn't have a productive year. You figure the salary that he was commanding was probably a pretty decent salary. So if you're able to get out from under that,
from a business perspective, it really didn't hurt. Just from a personal dealing with him and having talked to him a few times that first year he was here, especially, and then knowing that he came back because he really liked it here, he likes the fans and everything like that. For him to leave again, just like personally kind of hurt because I wanted him to come back here and succeed. But from a business perspective, yeah, he was making way too much money, I think, for the production. He was probably making too much money anyways, let alone for the production that he was giving the last 2 years of that contract. So from a salary perspective and from a roster construction perspective, it doesn't hurt hardly at all. But I just wanted him to come and succeed, and having him leave here without succeeding hurts. But son, hold on. Okay, you good? Cool. But we did sign a couple new players to kind of mitigate some of the losses that we've had. I still think we're a little short in the back line here. The first one of which was, hold on, let me get to my thing. Just not having phone and computer is kind of annoying. The first one announced was, I'm probably going to butcher this name, which really pisses me off. But Makwele Akale from South Georgia Tormenta, who's coming in, played, listed him as a forward. We've also seen him kind of out on the wing. Had some great highlights that we saw in League One, in USL League One last year. He was their Player of the Year for South Georgia Tormenta, and these USL League One guys. I mean, we've now brought on 2 from USL League One, and then 1 from MLS Next Pro, blah blah blah. And so I don't know if that's sarcasm from Seth or legit saying good job, but he said good job, so I'll go with it. What do you guys know about that guy, about Akale, and how do you guys feel about that?
You have
Thank you,
anything,
Seth.
Earl, or no?
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. I like the signing, especially after Armando left. I'm hoping he can fill the Mondo hole that was there. Especially with Mondo finishing the majority of the season on that side, on that wing side. I think he comes in and he can make a impact where Mondo left off. And when I said wing side, I mistaked him for the other side that Seth 2.0 over there is going to talk about. So yeah, I like Akale, I guess how you say his name. I like him. I think he has some speed and some potential in the lineup. So I hope he's not a bust. I hope he's not the other forward signings that we've had that have shat the bed and try to sell it.
So for him, looking at his stats here, just for people here, with South Georgia Tormenta last year, he had 11 goals, 5 assists, played almost 2,450 minutes there approximately. So his output was good. He was at his shooting shots and shots on target was about 48%. So he's one that, if he does take a shot, it's going to, generally speaking, put it on frame. He won about 48.8 of his duels, had 46 interceptions. So to me, 41% on crosses. So if you're expecting him to cross it in, maybe not. Maybe you want somebody a little bit different. But I think the potential that he has is going to be there. From my understanding in speaking with some of the League One guys, he is one of the up and coming stars. For that here, he's 26 now. For that here, but he mainly plays on the right hand side, whether it's midfield, but can play in the attacking positions. He has played a little, excuse me, a little bit on the left hand side, looking just at his kind of map, but mainly he's going to be a right handed side. I think he's going to be, the right attacking wing. And then the other player that you guys brought in, Dayon Harris, who I think came from Tampa, if memory serves me right. I think he's going to be playing more behind him on that right-hand side, depending on how coach puts out the lineup. But to me, I definitely think out of the 2 additions, even though they're both listed as attacking mids, I think he's the one that's definitely more going to be the forward, and hopefully, as a New Mexico fan, if you are putting the ball, in the net as a San Antonio fan, hopefully not at least against us. So.
I like how Seth is still trying to run the show from the comment section. I appreciate you, Seth. Yeah, so you touched on the other signing that we made. It was actually a transfer from Tampa Bay, Deion Harris. Deion, sorry. His stats don't like jump off the page when you look at what he's done in Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay has been a top-notch team in USL the whole time he's been there, and he's getting minutes for them. It's not like he's a backup player for them. So he's doing something right over there. He does a lot of the things that don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet, but at the same time, he also is able to come in and create, score, throw in some crosses. I like both of these signings. I think they're much needed. It's a much needed shakeup to the attack. I think you have to look at it like this: that Quill came in halfway through last season. We saw him do some roster work, but this is his first off season where he's able to get his hands in there, along with Itamar, who's the technical director, and come in there and make signings that fit what he wants to do. So because he went out and has gotten these 4 players in the form of Marco, Flanagan, Akale, and Harris here, I think all 4 of them show enough on paper and in their highlights to excite me. And because they're coming in during this offseason with Quill trying to build on what he's trying to implement, I think that means to me that they're people that he wanted to work with and he's had his eye on as well as Itamar. And so I think that with the offense struggling really since year one, if we're being fully honest, aside from COVID year, we did fairly well offensively, but the last 2 years especially have been pretty rough. So to see some offensive talent come in that Quill himself is probably at least having a hand in, excites me to see what this offense can do. The roster still isn't anywhere near finished. We've got probably 7 or 8 roster spots, depending on how big Quill wants to keep this roster. We've been with Prince and Lassane, we've seen a smaller roster, 21, 22 players, plus a couple of academy guys. So if that's the number we're shooting for, then we still have like 6, 7 spots left. But if he wants to go a little bit bigger, then we can expect even more signings. I expect him to start flooding in pretty rapidly over the next couple weeks to a month before the preseason starts. So I'm excited for both of those. Losing Austin, the uncertainty about Suggs, the back line definitely needs addressed, and I expect those signings to come shortly. Is Earl using wrapping paper as a tablecloth? Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know if he can hear us right now. So,
hey, asshole, that's Christmas. That's a Christmas tablecloth
made out of wrapping paper.
We're past Christmas, but Seth brings up a good point. And like where Akale played in Tormenta was on the right-handed side, but according to Seth, he's a left-footed left winger, which means he's Santi's replacement. So he's going to be playing on that side.
So he's not going to be playing? If he's Santi's replacement, he's just going to sit the bench because that's what Santi did.
Well, but you're playing in that position.
I know what you mean.
And Santi had a conversion, shots on target of about 33% last year compared to, I think, almost 50% for Akale. So,
yeah.
To me, like I said here, you'd hope it's an improvement. Now, it is a step up in competition between League One and Championship. Question is how much it is. And then, he is 26, so it's not like he's a real young guy. He should be hitting his prime at this point. So I think as a United fan, you got to like the possibility of him on the left-hand side, and then that would put Harris or, depending on how the roster fills out on the other side. One question that I have, and like I said here, we got to see how healthy he is. But Nava, where do you see Nava playing? With the new attacking players coming in.
Yeah, that's a good question. Assuming health, and he comes back and is the old Nava, which is I think assuming quite a bit. We saw Amando come back after about a year of basically the same injury and didn't quite look himself. Took him another year or so
To recover,
like back into the swing and actually look like Amando of old. So, but Nava is young. He's tough. I think he can come in and basically be where he was. And if that's the case, then he'll be in that mix with Nikki and Weehan and Marco as an attacking mid type player, and then you can also throw him out on. Mainly, we saw him on the left side, so that would be where Akale is playing. But he can be even deeper than that and create from a little bit farther back. So the one thing about Nava that I really liked is he's pretty versatile. You can't necessarily put him at center back or even fullback. Just his size just doesn't hold up back there, obviously.
No,
But anywhere in the attacking half of the pitch, you can pretty much plug him in and let him go to work. Maybe not a number 9, although we would have said that about Brucey until last year. Then we put him in a number 9, and all of a sudden he was incredible out there for a few games. So he can pretty much go anywhere. I expect him to be more in the midfield, in the depending on what we see. If we see a midfield 3, then him, Nikki, and Weehan. But then you kind of lack defense there, so it's hard to say. I think Rivas is probably going to be a center mid, like a true center mid, like Portillo was more or less. And then you got Nikki and Weehan and Nava, who can all kind of go play in the midfield, but be of a more attacking mindset. Anything, Earl? Is Earl even there?
Earl's eating his cereal.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's ice cream.
Okay. So just a real quick roster update. We currently have 17 players signed. We've got Nava, Bruce, the aforementioned Zico Bailey. We have Jacobo Reyes coming back, Arturo Astorga coming back, Nicky Hernandez, who I've talked about. Our only 2 true center backs right now are Seymour and Ryden, both coming back. Harry's coming back, Harry Swartz, that is. Greg Hurst up top. Mentioned Ryden. We got Rivas coming back, and then the ones that we've talked about today with Tambakis and Weehan, and then the 4 new signings from elsewhere: Marco Micheletta, Flanagan, Akale, and Harris. So the roster, it's still definitely a work in progress. We still need some help on the back line. The attacking side of the roster is looking pretty good, but not quite finished yet, I don't believe. And so we're getting there.
We need to see head coaches Earl's lineup as of January 9th at this time.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Pending future moves, but what does head coach Earl have going on at this point?
Sorry, I got brain freeze.
You have to have a brain to get brain freeze, Earl.
Anyways, this guy's an ass.
You missed me.
With a bullet.
Hurry up.
Anyways, I have Akale and Hurst as the top 2, then our attacking forwards, I guess.
Okay.
I know Seth says that Akale plays left wing, but last time I checked, Seth isn't here, and he's in the chat. The left side, that's what questions me the most, only because of the Santi departure and not really knowing where Nava's standing. So with that, I have Nava and Micheletto there with Akale playing that as well. And then the midfield with that one being Nicky Hernandez and Bees, and then Harris on the right. I have Seymour taking what's his face's position. Yeah, that guy.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I have Flanagan, Ryden, and Bailey on my back line. Just because I don't know about Suggs. If Suggs is back, I believe Suggs takes the spot. But if Suggs is not back, then I think it's Flanagan taking it.
I don't hate it, which is a glowing review, I think, at this point. So it's like a 3-1-4-2.
Yeah, 3-1-4-2.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I think I'd probably have a 4 at the back with Redden and Seymour back there, and then your two same fullbacks, and then
See, I thought about Seymour being on the back, but just the way I saw him play last year when he was on the back line, that's when we gave up our most goals. Was he was playing that right back.
yeah, but that was also when Ryden wasn't there. So I think the two of them have worked well together in the past. I do like Seymour in the midfield. He's been a good midfielder in the past for us. But I think I do. Looking at the current roster, I'd have 4 at the back with just Seymour falling back a little bit more, and then a 3-man midfield of probably Rivas, Nicky, and Weehan, and then 3 at the top with Hurst, Akale and Harris, or Akale and Bruce, or Mikeleta instead of Hernandez. I don't know. There's a few different ways I could go, but with what I know of the players that we have, I think I'd go a 4-3-3 with Weehan, Hernandez, and Rivas, and then at the top Harris, Akale, and Hurst up top. But like I said, we're still not quite done with the roster. I'm sure we still have moves to make. There's only 17 people on the active roster. That I might be missing somebody. Sorry, I had a dog dying over there, apparently. One thing I will tell you, if you have 4 kids and 2 dogs and a cat, you might not want to get a puppy for Christmas. Might not be the best idea. It's not the worst idea, but it might not be the best idea. So the other dogs love him. The kids love him. I love him. It's just a lot. So yeah, we're still not done with the roster. We'll still have plenty of moves to make. Harry, we kind of talked about it before we got on, but there's really just nothing going on in San Antonio right now, is there?
No, not yet. For San Antonio, they got the U.S. men's national team match coming up the 20th, so next Saturday, 2 p.m. Toyota Field against Slovenia. So it's sold out. Will be a lot of fun.
Are you going or no?
Oh yeah, I'm taking both Anna and AJ. I wish I was smart enough to buy more tickets at the pre-sale value, and then sell them on the open market because would made some bank. But for me, it was hey, let's just get tickets, take the family, and be able to go. So excited for that. Yeah, but for San Antonio, I think we're at 11 with Connor Maloney retiring. I think for San Antonio, they're they're going to put a team together. There's going to be fringe MLS players, and with MLS starting camp next week, I think we'll start to see a little bit more movement. But one thing that I did want to comment on, just kind of overall, in what we've been friends for 3-4 years now, for that year, and I know it's preseason, but for one of the few times, especially on the attacking side, you guys have options, which I don't think previous years you guys have really been able to say that. You guys have always thought been a little bit thin up top. And I know there's probably, you figure they'll probably still add maybe 1 or 2 more on the attacking side. So hopefully New Mexico has good health, and like I said here, where you do have those options where you can plug and play, and if somebody gets hot or somebody gets cold or needs time off, you have that flexibility,
Yeah.
because there has been times where you're like looking down and, hey Earl, can you suit up? It's been that thin type for New Mexico. So
I'm worried right now
exciting.
I'm worried that the back line's going to end up looking like that this year, which isn't good. But yeah, and that's thin. I mean, it goes to that roster construction of only having 21, 22 quality players, and then if you get 2 or 3 players injured at a time, which seems inevitable with this grueling of a sport, then you're gonna be left playing a kid, for lack of a better term, at center back for a couple matches. Like we had Kyle Colonna, who I thought stepped in admirably, but is definitely not a top tier USL center back. And so when you have dreams and hopes of making it to the playoffs and making a deep run, you need a little more depth back there and up top. We brought in a bunch of players mid-season last year to try to ramp up the attack, and then sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So yeah, I agree. The attacking options that we're bringing in, having that ability to plug and play different ways and different people up top, is definitely a positive, especially this early in the off season. So I'm excited for that. We'll see what's going on. Are there any moves around the USL in general that you guys have seen that move the needle for you?
Yes. So being in the role of Seth, we have to talk about the roles of coaches moving. Both Tulsa, who is in the West, for those that don't know, Tulsa was moved to the West, as well as Memphis 901. And the defending champions, Phoenix Rising, had their coach plucked away by MLS teams. Now there were transfers, so they did get compensation. I know Rising starts camp next week. I think we're for most clubs probably a week to 2 weeks away from breaking camp. I know Indy 11 just hired their coach. I think it was yesterday, an intern from Minnesota United. So it'll be interesting to see what Tulsa does and what Phoenix Rising does, because Phoenix Rising obviously is gearing up with some top talent coming back, defending champs. I know they struggled during the year, so to me it's an interesting thing here. And then obviously Troy, and you guys can speak more about Troy than I can. Him leaving New Mexico, taking on the role of an assistant with New York Red Bulls. And getting it was interim last year when their coach was fired, and then I believe he went to DC United. According to Seth here, he went to DC United. So
that was just announced this week as well. I'm assuming he's going to take Zach with him there. I'm super excited for Troy. I think he kind of got done dirty by the Red Bull. I think Red Bulls, they were planning on making him a coach in the future, but then they kind of sped that process up by firing can't remember who they fired, but they fired their head coach halfway through the year, promoted Troy. I thought Troy did a great job. He got into the playoffs, and then for whatever reason they let him go. I thought they would at least consider bringing him back. So now he moves over to DC United. DC United was not in a good place last year. So he's going to be able to go in there and try to build something from the ground up, basically. And as long as DC United give him that opportunity and don't rush the timeline that they want to try to go by, then I think he can be very successful there. And then to see Juan and Gavin from Phoenix and Tulsa, respectively, going on to take MLS assistant jobs like Zach did in the middle of the year last year. I'm kind of, back and forth on it. I think it's a good move as far as if something can happen like Troy, where they go in, they get that experience, they can move up. But when it comes to Juan from Phoenix, like they just won the championship. This was only gonna be his second year there, second full season there, anyways. had some returning pieces. They've been shaping the roster to fit what he wants to do. And so for him to leave this late doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me from his perspective when you had a chance to come in and go for a repeat and maybe put together a better regular season than you had last year and show that you really are, the Rick Shantz Phoenix teams from the last couple of years. You're better than that. And instead he goes to be second fiddle there in Houston. But Houston is an up and coming team in the MLS. They made a deeper run in the playoffs than I think most people expected last year, and so it's interesting. The coaching carousel is definitely interesting. I like what Indy did hiring McCullough from after Minnesota United dropped the intern tag and he left there. He left there just about a week ago, I think. So
no, he was the interim.
Yeah, that's right.
And for further opportunities. And I made a joke with Brian Cook, who does a great job covering Indy 11, and I was like, future Indy coach ? And so I kind of semi called that one, I guess.
Good job.
But just to me, so for the coaches, I'm happy for them to be able to step up, just like with the players. Anytime we get a player that goes over to Europe or go up to MLS. Mm-hmm. Generally speaking, we're happy about it.
Unless his name is Diego Luna, and then I'm not.
Well, I don't think El Paso got enough for Diego Luna.
Apparently not.
That's a whole separate discussion. And my issue is Diego Luna is on U.S. men's national team. He will be at Toyota Field. What happens if he scores?
You boo. Yeah. I don't care. You boo.
He is representing the country, so.
I think it's a woo boo woo. I think you got to go back and forth.
Yeah, it's that one's long.
If you're wearing a United States men's soccer kit or shirt, you point to that and cheer, and then you point at him and boo, and then you point to that and cheer, and then you point to him and boo.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, but Luna got a call up to the U.S. men's national team. He's actually excelling. I know we all kind of dog him because he was with El Paso, but you got to give it to the kid. He's had a pretty successful tour with Real Salt Lake, and he's represented the league well. Just to be fair to him,
he definitely has. He's had a ton of success, and he's seen a lot of puppies die. So. I don't know if Harry's in on that joke, Earl, but it's the same. I'm torn.
The story behind that one.
We don't need to tell the story again. He can go back and look at past things.
It's been a long time ago. All I know is Diego Luna was an 18-year-old kid who had fucking tattoos on his hands and tattoos up his arm, tattoos into his neck.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. But he also looked like a 40-year-old mobster,
a man-child justice
that sold puppy intestines to black market slaves. Like,
yes, he definitely does not look like his age. We'll just leave it at that here. But to me,
this one we need to come in with the obligatory. Earl's comments do not represent Somos Mas as a whole. Or the greater Albuquerque area, or Santa Fe area.
Harry, what was the reaction to the SAF season? Seth, the quarterbacking from the back room here. What was the reaction to the SAFC season? Meet exceeded, fell short of expectation. Biggest miss and biggest hit of the season.
We're not looking back at last season. We're looking ahead. This is January 9th.
Yeah, it's a new year, but it was a disappointing end. And the fact, just a quick recap, I think San Antonio had 9 draws at home. If they would have converted 3 of those, they would have been first in the West and possibly had a better chance at repeating. But to me, the draws at home, and then the drama at goalkeeper, benching Farr, bringing in an MLS goalkeeper on loan who had talent, don't get me wrong, but it just messed up. And then, of course, you guys have your El Paso player movement. I guess our biggest move is we traded Justin Dillon to El Paso, and we got back Lucho Solinag, which is kind of interesting because Lucho, we have a love-hate relationship. When he was with San Antonio, he was awesome. But when he was with El Paso, he instigated a lot of stuff that led to some red cards in matches. So we'll just leave it at that. So he's back with the good guys. He was with us when we had the checkered kit. So maybe that's a sign we'll get our checkers back because that is the best kit in San Antonio history, in my opinion. And
I really like the white Fiesta ones, but that's just me.
Yeah. So, but for San Antonio, got knocked out second round. Repeating's hard, and I think Phoenix is going to see that, and especially losing their coach, Juan Guerrera. I think it's going to make that a little bit more difficult for that here because you get everybody's best chance, but just how San Antonio didn't close at home, and of course all of us are better coaches doing podcasts than our current coaches, and felt that Marcina did not make enough adjustments, and he took Mentality Monsters into a joke towards the end just because how the team would give up leads. So it was disappointing, but we are in a new year, Seth. Maybe you can get with the calendar. It's 9 days into 2024. You've got as a neutral, a pretty decent team shaping up on paper. You got a new stadium coming, so there's a lot to look forward to, not look back, Seth. Come on.
Agreed.
In defense of Seth, and I this also is going to sound like vomit coming out. He has been down with whatever got in his throat and died in there and didn't want to come out. So his calendar is still probably 2023.
Maybe.
Just putting that out there.
So do we want to talk some runners, and not San Antonio runners, but New Mexico runners of the Indoor Soccer League?
We do. I want to touch base.
Soccer League, pardon me?
I want to touch base on a couple of transactions that I've seen recently around the league. One I just saw today, Sam Glito was transferred from Monterey Bay to Luz City. Sam Glito is an Albuquerque native, somebody that we've wanted here. Pretty much every time an offseason comes up that he's available, we've clamored for him. He's now transferring over to Luz City. That was the bigger of the ones that I've seen recently. We still had, we had Nicholas Murray's free agent list. Did you guys get a chance to read that?
Yes.
They had some interesting names on there. Some names that I forgot, honestly, were still available. So, Trejo's still out there.
Rumor is he's wanting to go overseas, though, is what I heard.
I mean, that very well could be, and I don't blame him if that's what he wants to work on. But just some names, some bigger names that are still out there. So if you haven't read that, take a look at that. And we're at the 58-minute mark, so we'll talk a little bit of runners here real quick, and then we'll finish with our parting thoughts and call it a week. Hopefully, we'll get some more New Mexico United news in the next couple weeks. We can come back with you and hit you with that. But on to runners. We have Andres Trujillo in the chat. We had Coach Steve in the chat earlier. A little bit of a tough start for the runners through 2 games, 2 losses, one to El Paso, one to Amarillo. But I believe we started off pretty rough last season, if I remember correctly, and we kind of found our form at some point. So, Earl, are you going to make it to any of these matches? Have you looked at any of these matches already? Anything like that?
Earl, you're on mute. Earl, you're on mute.
Yeah, so I plan on making a couple of them. Thanks, Harry, by the way. We wanted to go to the first one. Obviously, the snowstorm decided otherwise. We wanted to go to this past one. Obviously, the snowstorm decided otherwise. So if the snowstorm can decide not to freaking snow, or if the sky can decide to stay dry for a couple hours, then yeah, we'll be good. But until then, I mean, it's very foreseeable. Like I've told Andres, I really need to get out there. Thanks, Andres. I appreciate you saving my media creds for us over here. The thing about it, though, is as a lot of you know, I moved away from Moriarty, and I now live about 2 hours away from Albuquerque. So those trips to Albuquerque are few and far between. So yeah, I'm not gonna make excuses about it. I do plan on making a couple out there. So just the notes that have been given to me, like Jacob said, rough start to the season, 0-2. Two close matches though. The first one to El Paso, who are new to the league, 13-8, and then Amarillo Bombers, 14-10. Jaime Rodriguez is the bright spot on the season. He has 6 goals and 1 assist. The one who's not having a bright spot though right now is Nate Yeager, who is only stopping 55% of his goals. So hopefully he can get that turned around. The next home match is on the 13th. It's against the Bandits. They haven't won a match yet. They're 0-3, and they're giving up 17 goals. So they have a 17 goal differential. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can
they
find
played-
our group against them. Sorry, Harry.
They played Wichita twice, lost 14-5 and 11-5. Did play Amarillo and lost 10-8 to theirs. So, for New Mexico, obviously they lost to Amarillo 14-10, and then lost to El Paso 13-8. So it should be an interesting match, for the runners. Like I said, I have a feeling this is one that they're hoping that they can get their first victory of the season on, and then they get a rematch, I believe, with El Paso and the follow-up.
And I do need to correct myself. Andres did comment and say that the next home match is January 28th and not the 13th like I had said.
Yeah, the 13th is where they play at in Kansas, and then the 20th they play at Amarillo.
El Paso.
No, Amarillo. Pardon me, Amarillo. I think I said that wrong. They play Amarillo on the 20th before they come back home on the 28th and play Kansas Bandits.
So yeah, hopefully we can get out there on the 28th. I might try to get out there as well. I might try to get to Amarillo too. It's the same distance from here to Albuquerque as it is from here to Amarillo. So wanted to go out and see a road match as well at some point. So we'll have to see what goes on there. Hopefully we can get back on the right track against Kansas City. Is it Kansas City? Or just no? I think it's Wichita. Huh?
It's Kansas. Yeah. No, it's
no.
It's Kansas now. The advantage for both of you, it's a 3:00 game, 3:05 game on the 28th for that here. So you'd have the opportunity to go in. I know Earl, you mentioned it's a couple-hour drive. Go for the game and still get home, at a reasonable hour, 7, 8 o'clock, depending on if you're stopping for dinner.
That's not what I do, Harry. Because I work Saturdays, so it's nicer when it's like a 7 o'clock game, like United, and then I don't get home until 1 o'clock in the morning, and I usually work on Sundays. But that's the price you pay to be a true fan. So, Dodge City. Okay, we play. Cool.
But
it's a fascinating league. So. Yeah, I see that. Fascinating league. I want to dig more into it. I just trying to find time is tough. So, but Andres has been great to us. I really appreciate you. He's been awesome for us all of these years that they've been over there playing in Rio Rancho, and so got to get out there and support them. For those of you in the Albuquerque metro area where it's a little bit easier, definitely go. I've heard the matches are a blast. I've seen clips of home matches. The action on the field's amazing. Definitely get out and get over and see those. Seth says tough match on Saturday. I was watching from home. Third quarter was a great run. So yeah, they're fun times. I forget that I can watch from home too. So Seth, next time shoot me a text. Say, hey, there's a Runners game on, and shoot me the link, and then I can watch it. But with that, guys, I don't think we have a whole lot left. Any parting words from either of you two?
I got parting words. San Antonio travels to New Mexico. I think it's Memorial Day weekend, if memory serves me right.
Well, that
So
why is it always on a holiday? Damn it! Sorry.
I don't know, but for us, it's a good thing because I think there's some of us that are planning on making another trip over. That that does the SAFC fan cast
Mhm.
here and some of the supporters groups. I think we're going to try to see. I think last time we had 7 or 8 of us
Yeah.
that came over. I think we're going to try to see if we can do that again together for that here, which so I'm kind of excited about going back to New Mexico. This will be the 3rd year in a row for that here. So hopefully, I think it is. I think it is Memorial Day weekend that we'll be visiting New Mexico, and hopefully for the last year in the baseball field, or is it 2 years that you guys have before you get to?
Probably be 2 years, but one can hope. One can hope. That's great. I love that you're coming out. This past year I was in the academy. Couldn't get over to see you, but I'll do my best this year. Holiday weekends are tough. Working at a lake at a state park.
Pretty much.
It's our busiest
Especially-
3 weekends of the month. So or of the year.
Especially Memorial Day weekend, and it is Saturday, May 25th. So
Awesome.
We may not be able to make it, and then I don't think you guys come to us until June 29th, which is also
We do not.
Saturday.
Yeah, we do not. No midweek games, as Seth said. I will be out there in March, though, not for a United game, but just for spring break. So we'll have to get a meet up there. I know San Antonio is actually out of town that week too. Otherwise, I was going to go to one of those matches. Austin FC is in town. Thought about making the drive up there, but we have not put anything in concrete as far as the family goes. So we'll definitely have to meet up then if we can't get together. If you come to town for the United match, but the season's coming on quick, man. It's right around the corner. Earl, you got anything else for us?
I don't have anything. Just the breaking news I gave to you guys earlier. Seth,
Yeah, congratulations again.
Sorry, you're the last person to know. Yeah, I don't really have anything. Really don't.
All righty. Well,
some
again,
pretty big news.
yeah, pretty good size news. I can't wait to see you as a dad of a baby. That's going to be weird since you're still a baby yourself. But I'm happy for you. I'm happy for Marlena. It's good times. It's good times to see your growth as a human being from when we first met in year 1 to now. I do, like, on a very real note, makes me very happy. So couldn't be prouder of you. Couldn't be prouder of you to get that other state job, even though stuff's not finished on my end that you needed to take care of before you left in there. That's a topic. You didn't call me. You didn't call me. We'll talk about it off air. But
yeah,
still proud of you and very happy for you and Marlena there. So for those of you that didn't hear the news at the beginning of the thing, Earl is going to be a father times 2 now. He's got a stepchild there, but him and Marlene are expecting, and hopefully in 8 months we've got a brand new healthy baby to show off as well.
And
well,
Seth,
guys,
hold on, Seth. On my defense, you're the one who canceled podcast last week.
Technically, I did because I completely forgot. He said we could do it, and I thought about it, and then I was playing basketball and completely forgot. So I'll take half the blame on that one as well, Seth. But Harry, as always, thanks for stepping in. Love having you on the pod. It's great to have a non-biased look at signings and how the season's going or how the roster's shaping up, stuff like that, and the many times that you come on. So really appreciate that. Earl, as always, thanks for coming on. Thanks for stepping in for me while I was gone as well. You know, we've done a couple podcasts since then. You were not on the last one, so I didn't get to thank you in person, but appreciate what you did while I was gone, holding down the fort. Seth in the chat, I hope you feel better, buddy. Hope you get your voice back.
I don't.
There's some off-color comments that I could make about things that you could stop doing that might help your voice, but I'm not going to go there.
I do have a question here for you, though. So why isn't Seth running the show? He doesn't need a voice. He could have been in the background, but he could have been the one that
we're good without him.
Chats and stuff.
We're good without him.
I'm just saying.
Don't give him any stupid ass ideas.
I mean,
he had to make Jacob do 3 jobs, and Steph's over here doing the cheerleading and instigating trouble. I'm just saying.
Seth does those 3 jobs 90% of the time, so I'll give him a chance to sit back and just comment. I mean, I think out of however many episodes we've done, he's missed maybe, I think this might be like his second or third that he's missed.
99.9% in him, yes.
Yeah. So, you know, I was just out for 4 months, so I can't really speak. Earl's here most of the time in person.
Earl's
whether he's here.
Earl has stepped up. So
that's what I've heard. I'm annoyed that it took me having to be absent for 4 months for him to actually pick up his game, but I'm happy he found it at least.
Was it you or was it him losing Team Earl and Robert? Because if you notice, Robert's MIA.
Where has he been?
I don't know, man.
I grew up, so he grew out.
So the love affair's over, man.
I guess so. I thought we would have him here the whole time. Also, last podcast, I was talking about the Rhode Island FC podcast that's coming up, the Raising Anchors. I didn't do my homework and wasn't sure if they'd put podcast or episodes out and stuff. There are a lot of podcasts in, actually. They're like 30 or 40 or something like that in. So I apologize to them. I've since gone in and listened to several episodes. Again, love what Rhode Island is doing and think that they're
San Diego East. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean it kind of is, but I liked what San Diego did too. So think that
I would say a non-family word, kind of how you guys talk about El Paso. That's how I feel about
you. Can go for it.
I won't.
I never.
Earl's expecting. I can't ruin his child's ears already, man.
Hey, hold on. On your defense, my child is in bed right now.
Mine are too.
Or
so
my unborn child.
Yeah, but I just like what they're doing. I like the color scheme. I like the crest. I like the uniforms. The fan base seems like it's actually going to be like, because to me, like, you can have an annoying fan base looking at Phoenix and Detroit City and everything like that. But if you have a passionate fan base, I think that's good for the USL and everything as a whole. So whether Rhode Island fans are going to be annoying or awesome, I don't know yet. But the fact that they have fans is really cool to me. And it seems like even before the first match is going to kick off, they're going to have a pretty solid fan base there. And that's exciting to me. So I just wanted to shout out Raising Anchors over there and tell them, apologize for my lack of homework last time we had the pod and move on from there.
You can just say Earl affected you for that episode.
Sure. Yeah. He didn't show up at the last minute, threw me off. So, and honestly, I didn't know that there was a podcast until just like 2 days before we did our podcast, where me and one of the guys were going back and forth on social media. And so just didn't have a lot of time between when I found out they were a podcast to when we were recorded last. So since then I've had some time. I've looked into it a little more and I just want to apologize. But with that, guys, I think we'll get out of here. We'll be back in probably 2 weeks. Me and Earl, at least. Harry is welcome to join all the time. Seth, if he stops doing certain things and gets his voice back, then maybe he'll be back. But we'll be back in a couple weeks, hopefully with a slew of new signings, maybe a preseason schedule If a lot of news breaks between now and next week, maybe we'll bump it up and go next week. It just depends on how New Mexico United wants to release some roster news and whatnot. Maybe see what happens there. But excited for the next few months. We're getting close. It's like we talked about. It's already January 9th. We're in 2024 already. Just have a few more weeks until preseason kicks off, and then about a month after that, we'll have the first matches. So, Harry, you got anything else for me?
Yeah.
So you unmuted over there.
It's 60 days.
60 days.
Season starts March 9th and
Yep,
29th.
that's
So
true.
it might be actually,
Less
60
than
days,
that.
30, 31 and 29 is, 60 days.
Yeah. So there we go. 60 days, and then we'll be at the lab. Well, me and Earl will be at the lab cheering on New Mexico United. Exactly 5 years to the day from our first match ever, which is crazy to think that's where we're at now. But it is. So with that, guys, if y'all got nothing else, then we're going to close it out. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Keep an eye on social media in case we move that up. But other than that, January, I'm not going to do math right now. January something. We'll be back. And until then, somos unidos.